Hoteki. A lot of you guys have seen this before, which is going to be great because we'll be able to get into a lot of stuff that you haven't seen before. As he hits me with that, we're going to block here, come up, extend, twist. Mark, you're going to want to move. Get that jammed up, get him on his toes, and then down. Okay? That's the basics. We can make a modification. So this is coming in, boom, up, turn, twist. Just come in here. Hoteki, I find, is usually done very hard by people. In other words, very, very physical. It doesn't have to be. All right, and that's where I want us to get to tonight. There's so many little things in this kata that we can learn and take, probably even more than most. All of them have something. This one has a lot. Right, and there's a lot of muscle and stuff like that, which is honestly perfectly fine if you can get away with it. Chances are, I think the person who's going to be attacking you is probably stronger and faster than you. So we have to make adjustments for that. Okay, so one of the first adjustments we're going to make for that is as that punch comes out, I'm moving out to extend that arm here. So I'm covering, but I'm going very quickly to here. All right, because I want this. All right, notice I'm kind of back. This is covering a hit. Now, as I shift forward, I'm shifting not directly into him. I'm actually shifting in front of him to start turning that hand out. This hand is now twisting to help this come off. One of the major problems you'll find, if someone has a really good grip, and we hit here, boom, and I try to do this, that's not coming off. There's no way in hell that's coming off. Okay, so we can't rely on the fact that I'm going to do that. If I try to do that, that's just going to punch me over and over and over again. Okay, this is the problem I see with some people teaching this. They're not taking into account that Matt's going to still want to move. You'll see Hoteki taught a lot of times. They put Matt just stays there whole time. Matt's not going to do that. A real attacker isn't going to do that. So we have to get control of them a little bit faster. Okay, so I know I said cover here. And that's good. We're going to do that at first, but we're going to make a very quick transition to this hyperextension. There's 3 points that we're going to talk about. Okay. So as he punches, I'm fading back, but I really want to get this straight. Okay. I don't want to wind up like this. This is going to be very difficult to straighten this arm out. I need him, when I end, to have this arm straight. That makes sense. Okay. So even if you want to try, right here. Okay, get that straight first. Hyperextension here, jam into his shoulder. Shift your weight back in front of him to help with that peel. Okay. Now from here, now we do that in one move, but I'm just trying to show you the basic mechanics of it. So as you come out on this, we're going out on the line of his arm, getting it straight. As I turn to come back, not only am I pressing this, but the rotation of my body collapses that hand. Do we see this? So that's why I didn't want you to start here, because now you can't do that. Yeah. I'm very bladed to him, right? I'm pushing my chest into his knuckles so that as my body turns, his hand does this. That's key. And this is a very important thing to learn later for taijutsu. Good taijutsu. All right. So this comes back, and this starts at hyperextension. My chest is doing turn, and then I add to it. Okay, so the angle that I take it off also makes a big difference too. And we'll talk about that next. But for now, can we get here, get that straight, and have our chest turn and inflect that hand? Okay? All right, because the last thing you want is to go back in here and you can't get this off. And you're sitting here like this. It's not a great idea. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
I've noticed a lot of people, as they start, punch, as they come in, they want to do this. Because that makes perfect sense. And you can. Don't get me wrong. This would go into a nice honkiyaku, the whole 9 yards. All right. But for Hoteki, one of the things that we get to learn is we're actually it's weird to put your hand like this. It's weird to put your hand like this from the start. But the thing is, we're setting it up for the future. So as this comes in, now this makes sense from this position. But I have to reverse engineer it over here. I'm not going to have the time to change it. That's one of the things that teaches us. Sometimes we have to put things in place, not for now, but for later. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Okay, so now we got to look at the peel. All right, And this is a very important point number one of like 90 that this kata show us. It looks that basically things in this art that look like they're one way are actually the opposite. And usually work better if you do them the opposite way. Pushes, things that look like are pushes can be done as pulls. Things that look as pulls can be done as pushes. This is one of the things this kata taught me. So as he comes in from here, boom, it looks like I'm doing all this movement and then pulling and pushing with this arm, right? Makes sense. I'm doing this. He's stuck. I'm not doing that. I'm actually leaving this here. I'm pulling down on this. Boom. So as this comes into here, I'm actually pulling this down to create more of a hyperextension. The opposite side of Matt, right? If I just did this, Matt's flat on his feet. But if I do this, Matt comes up on his toes. All right. So we're really looking at that cantilever aspect. What do I have to do with this to make an effect over here? And vice versa. What's not being affected that could be affected. So as we come in through here, and I've gotten to here, and I've gotten to this point in time, I'm not just trying to, I may not be able to, it's a t-shirt, whatever, maybe. But if this is a good lapel grip and a good grip, I don't know. So I've gotten in here, I push this front, I'm turning this and I'm going down. See what that does to Matt? Now, the thing is, it makes this hole smaller. We'll adjust for that in a second. I think people want this big hole so they can get in. But the problem is when they do that, they get out here, they may not get the grip off. They do, I can't, it doesn't work, screw it. So we're pushing back here. I'm actually going down with this. It's a different story, isn't it, Matt? It's hurts a lot more. All right, and I'm twisting this as far as I can get it at any point in time. Okay, if I want to feel smart, you have a smart boss. So as you get back to here, instead of trying to take it this way, which is going to get caught right in this gi, as you get this here, down, okay, and that will pop them up on their feet. The cool thing about this, I should real quick to that. If you get in a position like this, again, people think, oh, I got to push up on his arm. No. That was his hand. Yeah. This is the thing that's holding it. Why? I'm way weaker here. This is right next to my body. I'm going to pull and put that under my hands.
Oh, your whole weight can go on.
Yes. Right. Do we see the difference? This is very, very important. If I'm here with Adam, I can either A, try to pick him up like this, which is going to be really hard, or I can put his hand under this hand and make the adjustment. That's what this kata shows us. You know, this is way more stable for me here to deal with this. Remember the classic everything's down? This is that same thing. Same thing. 1, 2. I'm not pushing him out. I'm going straight down in relationship to me. Now I got you. Yep. Now I can ensure that coming off a lot easier this way than I ever can this way. Make sense?
Yep.
All right, go ahead. If I was putting up a tent, I wouldn't go like that. I wouldn't do that. It's too hard, right? It's heavy. I would get this up here and I would put this underneath my hand. Do we understand? That physicality? That's what's going on here. This hand is coming out and I'm pushing this underneath to push them up on their tiptoes. Right? Got it? That's why I'm trying to take the strength out of this. You see a lot of people, they won't do it this way and they rely on brute strength. I think that's a mistake. Because the person who's going to be attacking you is going to probably be stronger than you. And if they have a good grip and you don't get that grip off, this is going to be very hard. Okay? Timing of the whole thing. Okay? It's not boom, 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 boom. It's not, I need to do this smoother. I remember on that. I'm not doing one. He'll feel that. He'll stop it the whole way. It won't work. And you'll see people do that, which I find very hard to believe. One. It's just slow. It all ends at the same time. Do we see that?
Yeah.
my hand motion, my weight shift, the movement, all ends at the same time. I'm not having my hands work at a different speed. As my body turns, this arm gets pushed forward, this one gets pulled back, right? I don't want to abandon this cover that quick. I don't want to be, right? I want this to kind of be here a little bit until I know that I have cover now with his arm. Do we understand? This is a second very important point. I'm covered here from that arm with this arm here, right? So even if I hit him the first time, he may be coming back for more. The last thing I want to do is hit him once, come back, and he's hitting me again. Right? That's a historically bad idea. To have your hands behind your head. Okay? So to protect against that, I hit him once. This is still here. But I want to get this back here. But how do I replace the cover that this gives me? I get his arm in the way. Now that punch can't be done. Right? He'll have to move to do it. And as that transitions, I slowly start bringing this back. Once I, oh, now I have this. Oh, great. Now I'm good. Okay? That's very important. Very, very important. This transition timing is very important for the cover aspects. But it also makes this weird, it makes it better in a weird way. It's hard to explain. And I wish I could, but I can't. Because coming like this, and then even doing this and grabbing it from the standpoint, too strong, isn't it not? But if I can do that, and really, I'm almost like going right down his arm, I can ensure being stretched out. And I can also pick up better if he gets out of it, without having to bring the whole side of the arm as it transitions through.
So you're saying you have like more information.
Way more information, right? Because why would I, do this at any point in time?
Yeah.
Right? I know that if that hand comes in, great, I can block it. But now, okay, now no. Well, why have this hand just then do nothing and then come to here? That makes no sense. I'm actually going to bring it right here. This is the thing, I may be wrong. I might miss. But this, whoa, I can do that. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So really try that shift down. Leave that out there. And as your body, just have it bring this hand back into play. Okay? Now that we got the basics, all right, we're going to rip a couple Henka off of this, and we're going to look at some of the very, very important points in this. All right, so if I can borrow Matt real quick. So it's going to be the same start. First Henka is, we're actually going to use the hand more. All right, so he comes back, boom. But instead of coming back and getting the elbow, I'm actually just going to push this hand in like this. But notice now I have the elbow with my arm. So now I can get into here.
Oh, that's way worse.
It is. Why I left it. Okay. But I left it for later once we got the basics. So he's grabbing here. I'm covering, boom, hit. I'm pushing back. Remember that wrist that broke down because of my movement? I'm actually making that work. I'm passing it off to this one. This one's now coming under. I'm pressuring him like this. You would see it like this usually. Yeah. But we're going to be here like this. And then we could just kick him out that way. All right, do we see it? See what I'm doing?
Yes, sir.
I'm breaking that hand down this way with this hand, passing it over and going that way. Okay? So I want to look at one more variation that could happen. It is a kind of classical variation, but it may happen just because. So I got Matt here. He's grabbing, it's the same start as the original. He's grabbing here. He's sitting. I'm going over to here. All right, I'm going back into here, but I realize like I don't quite have it. I don't like the line. I don't like the angle. So I'm going to take his arm. I'm going to put it up. Down from there. I could just shove him off to the side and get away. Perfectly fine too. I don't care. Let's see it. Boom. I start this and I realize maybe something's amiss. Maybe he even stepped out. All right. We're getting here. Here we go. Okay. So all I'm doing is taking the arm and pushing straight up. The arm will turn. All right. I'm not holding too hard onto this, but I realize this isn't, I don't like this. This isn't going to work. You know, I'm here. That punch is coming. Remember what this shows us. This shows us that we can control punches by working this side. I've screwed up a little bit, or he moved. I can still control that side. Like this. We can just go right off to the side too. I don't care. Okay. So this is, again, one of the big lessons in this is how can we control a guy that's going to be doing this to us? He's not just going to do it once. He'll boom, boom, boom. How can I control it? I can't. Oh, now I can. Oh, shit. There's ground aspects of this. There's more taijutsu aspects of this. There is weapons aspects of this. Tons. Okay, but one of the important points I want to look at tonight is what I mentioned before: pushes and pulls. What look like our pushes and pulls. I want to put that into stuff that we've seen, because we've seen that tonight. This kata shows us that. It's not me pushing them over. It's me pulling this hand underneath and having the counteraction of them going up and over. You understand that, right? Please say yes. Yes. Because I can't proceed if you all say no. Okay? Typically, you see an arm bar, and we push that shoulder and stuff like that into it. Okay? Now, if I do it right, great. But chances are I'm he's strong. I don't know. But what if we get to here, and I get really I'm just going to put my hand here. I'm going to pull this back. Now I have the arm bar. I'm not really pushing this. I'm keeping pressure here enough to keep contact. How much? How much? Hardly any.
Yeah, nothing. Just body movement.
Just body movement.
And unattached.
Right? And because his arm wants to do that, so here, you're pulling this back. And there's my arm bar. Super good. I don't know if you can understand how. This is placement. There's nothing there. There's just the same amount of contact that I started with. It's the position of his arm, it's the position of me. And now I got my arm bar. So much easier. So much easier. But do we see the dynamic with that Hoteki where I pulled this under here to throw him over? Now I'm just doing it on this plane. I'm pulling this back to here so this goes forward. Right? You see it? Yeah. Now don't get me wrong, there's a little bit of a turn twist. That's just because his body wants to do that. Not because of me. Okay. So can we do that? And I really just touch him as light as you can. Just have a hand here. Put this here and say, okay, I'm gonna pull this hand behind this shoulder. I'm just not gonna let the shoulder move. I'm gonna be here enough so that when I do this, the whole thing doesn't come back. I'm just gonna leave this here as like a check. And I'm gonna take it and pull this back to my hip. I'm going to watch the counteraction happen over here. Okay? So we're doing an arm bar that's a pull, not a push. So for the last 10 minutes, let's look at something else so familiar. But we're going to look at, this is going to be a little bit smaller, so you're going to have to use your mind a little bit. We're going to look at an emote gyaku. So you're going to throw that punch here. Before I get this emote. All right? We always do emotes as pushes. Right? We always push into an emote. Do we agree? Yeah. So I switch with this. Right, which is usually predominantly done by this hand. Right? But what if we could actually get to here? We get to here, and from here, I'm not going to push anymore with this hand. I'm going to have this hand be like this hand on the shoulder, and I'm going to pull it with this side. Right? So now, this is this part. This part that was moving is this inside part near his thumb. Okay? So he's going to throw it out one more time. We're going to get to here. We're going to get it up in position. And even from here, I'm going to leave this part here. I'm going to take this part and rotate it under. So now I'm doing a multi-gyaku as a pull. Different, isn't it? Yep. Principles of this kata is that stuff that really, really looks like a push. This kata looks like you're throwing it over. And you can do it that way. Don't get me wrong. There's a great arm break in there. But we can see, well, how else can we do it? Well, if we pull this underneath, it makes it so much easier because that's where my weight and my mass is. Well, can we take that into other things? Yes, we can. You can take it into all, you can take it into all things that we do. And I challenge you to like look at things sometimes. Like, okay, I'm going to do this the opposite. It looks like a push technique. I'm going to do it as a pull technique. I'm going to do a pull technique into a push technique. All right, and it really changes things. And honestly, usually it makes it easier. I find because the opposite, usually the default thinking is it has to be this way. It uses arms and strength. When you flip it on its head, it relies more on body movement. Okay, it changes it, and that's I think a huge thing I learned from Hoteki. Now, there's also tons of other things that we can actually take out here, which we'll look at next week. Plus options on the ground, option with multiple weapons, and then really kind of how can we look at using balance points and get this more taijutsu like and using more of our cover. We looked at that a little bit tonight, and I want to concentrate more too next week on how can we use one side of the body to control what the other side of the body is doing. All right, this one has a ton. And that's another aspect I want to look at too, is which is really key and important, is the 3-point lockup. We have 3 things going on in the body in one point in time. We have a twist, we have a hyperextension, we have a jam. All right, which really renders the person in a bad spot. You can actually take that premise and put it into other pieces of the body in separate locations. If you're using 3 different things on 3 different parts of the body, it causes massive confusion. If you're tweaking one part, turning one part, and pushing on another part, it really jams up people. All right, so we'll actually want to explore that too.